Imagine for a moment that an entire nation is cut off from the world. No internet, no phone, no digital connection. A digital blackout enforced overnight. That's exactly what has happened in Iran amid the massive nationwide protests, and this moment could be one of the most significant events in the Middle East in decades. These are not just protests. They are a human drama unfolding under a digital blackout, where information itself has become a battlefield. In the streets of Tehran, Mashhad, Isfahan, Shiraz, and in smaller towns you've probably never heard of, millions of Iranians are raising their voices against oppression. The cost has been heartbreaking. Thousands have died, with some human rights organizations and opposition groups estimating death tolls far higher than official figures acknowledge. Now imagine trying to document such a movement without the internet. The answer lies in a technology most US audiences associate with space travel: Starlink. This video is not just about protests. It's about who controls truth in the digital age. It's about power, information, empathy, and the strategic twists that define our moment in history. To understand what's happening today, we have to go deeper. These protests are the culmination of years of economic decline, crushing inflation, and crippling international sanctions. The Iranian currency, the rial, has collapsed. Inflation has soared, and everyday basics like bread, rent, and medicine have become unaffordable for millions. Initially, economic protests, shopkeepers striking, and students walking out quickly moved from demands for relief to demands for political freedom. And then, the government pulled the plug. In a deliberate move, Tehran imposed one of the most comprehensive information shutdowns in the world. This wasn't just a minor disruption. It was a full-blown digital emergency, a deliberate effort to crush dissent not just physically, but informationally. Because in every major protest movement in recent memory, images matter. They shape global perception. They spark solidarity. They make the world watch. Against this backdrop of digital darkness, Starlink became a lifeline. Tens of thousands of terminals have been smuggled into the country. When landlines went down, Starlink emerged as the only means for many to transmit photos and videos to the outside world, escaping the blackout. But governments do not sit idle. Iran responded by jamming satellite signals and deploying advanced military-grade technology to disrupt connections. This is not just geopolitics. This is a digital arms race at the intersection of freedom and power. And yet, for all the technology and geopolitics, the core of this story remains human. Official death tolls vary dramatically, but even conservative figures point to thousands killed, detentions in the tens of thousands, and many more injured. These are not abstract numbers. These are families torn apart, parents without children, voices snuffed out in a moment the world barely saw. Pictures that do emerge, often from Starlink transmissions or smuggled memory cards, show grief, anger, fear, courage, and desperate hope. This is the emotional core of why the world should care. These are human beings, not just headlines. You might ask, why hasn't every major US news network been screaming about this every day? There are several factors at play. The blackout makes reporting extraordinarily difficult. Newsrooms focus on events where visuals and information are abundant. But there's a deeper issue, one that goes to the heart of how global media decides what is news. There's an emotional and ethical component. When reporting becomes a function of access rather than urgency, stories like Iran can fall through the cracks, even though they affect millions. In recent days, US political figures have made statements. Former President Trump and other leaders have condemned the crackdown. These responses reflect a broader debate. Should America support foreign protest movements more actively? How to balance advocacy with conflict? The struggle in Iran represents a fundamental test of how the modern world will handle censorship, access to information, and global solidarity. If a government can truly silence the voices of its citizens, even in the age of satellites, what does that mean for the next generation of activists? And if technology like Starlink can give people a voice, what responsibilities do tech companies have when lives hang in the balance? As we close, remember, behind every image is a story of courage. This isn't just a moment in the Middle East, it's a moment for the world to reflect. For your audience, this is a human rights story. It's about ordinary Iranians showing extraordinary bravery and how the struggle for freedom demands the world's attention.